When I was a kid, I used to love Bugs Bunny cartoons, particularly the one where Bugs takes a wrong turn in Albuquerque and ends up in the middle of a bullfighting ring in Mexico. And from that moment on, I was convinced that the color red drove bulls crazy. Only recently did I learn that bulls are colorblind and that the cape is red in order to better hide the blood stains. In high school, my economics teacher insisted that red cars get more tickets. Relatedly, I was told red cars cost more to insure, neither of which are true. There's still something to the color red. Studies show it often stirs within us the opposite emotions of love and anger. It's used on stop signs or in stoplights because it attracts our attention. We even use it figuratively, describing a business that struggles financially as in the red, or someone or something raising a red flag with us. So what about the second seal in Revelation chapter 6? John tells us, when the Lamb opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature say, "Come." Then another horse came out, a fiery red one. Its rider was given power to take peace from the earth and to make people kill each other. To him was given a large sword. What's the deal with the red horse? The color red seems obviously tied to its purpose. If you pay attention to the wording, the second seal is composed of two "it was given" phrases. It was given to take peace from the earth, and it was given a large sword. In the middle is its function. And what does the rider do? Well, it kills. If the first horse and rider represent a conquering empire, the second horse represents civil wars. As empires expand, war within abounds. Following the death of Emperor Nero in 68 AD, the Roman Empire was thrown into bloody chaos. In just over 1 year, 3 men led Rome, and each was brutally murdered. I would argue that this is the background for the red horse. The word for sword that John mentions in verse 4 differs from the one in Revelation 19. That in 19 is a broadsword. Now the sword mentioned here, it might be confusing, but it also means a large dagger. It was something used in close combat or sacrifice or murder. In the Greek Old Testament, it's the same word used when Abraham was to sacrifice his son. That's the implement. Now let's keep reading. When the Lamb opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a black horse. Its rider was holding a pair of scales in his hand. Then I heard what sounded like a voice among the 4 living creatures saying, 2 pounds of wheat for a day's wages and 6 pounds of barley for a day's wages. And do not damage the oil and the wine. The wheat and barley are staples. These prices would have been 10 to 12 times higher than the usual market rate. When war strikes, particularly civil wars, hunger and famine are quick to follow. The preservation of oil and wine suggests that the rich are the last to be impacted. When the Lamb opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a pale horse. Its rider was named Death, and Hades was following close behind him. They were given power over 1/4 of the earth to kill by sword, famine, and plague, and by the wild beasts of the earth. During the Civil War in the U.S., 2/3 of the deaths came from things like pneumonia, typhoid, and dysentery. The huge troop movements in ships and close quarter conditions during World War I contributed to an influenza epidemic that took the lives of roughly 50 million people, 3 times the number of lives lost in war. What I'm suggesting is that the first 4 seals represent something that happened, are happening, and will continue to happen. We should be wary of those who attempt to look and to read the signs of the times and say, "Oh, this is it. This is it. Jesus' teaching in Matthew 24 seems key to this text. He says, you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nations will rise against nations and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of the birth pains. And Jesus tells us not to be alarmed. How can we not be alarmed with all that's going on? Because God is in control. The riders are terrifying, but their means are limited. They can only do what they've been given in response to those who call, come. And boundaries have been set for them. We can be not alarmed because the end is to come. And for us who trust in the Lord, the end is only a new and wondrous beginning. Have a blessed week.